Welcome to the HerbmanT podcast, where I am your host, HerbmanT, and today's topics are tinnitus, dizziness, vertigo, acid reflux, and what's good for potassium. Oh, one more. I constantly blurry. I bet you all can guess what's going to be good for potassium, right? Now, if you want to support the podcast, head over to patreon.com/HerbmanT and become a Patreon member, and you will gain early access to all of my podcasts. There's a tier 1 and a tier 2. One is $7 a month. The other is $30 a month. Or you can head over to HerbmanT.com/shop. There's no dash, so it's really just one word, HerbmanT.com. And you can get an ebook, Detox and Heal, Herbal Cheat Sheet 101, or some merch. So first topic was, the first question actually was, any suggestions for tinnitus, dizziness, and sometimes vertigo? No ear infection, but have Eustachian tube dysfunction. I don't have any allergic. It's been 6 years now. So problem, lymphatic. You have lymphatic stagnation in the head area, whether it be, ringing in the ear, dizziness, vertigo. There's a buildup of fluid in your head area, and this fluid is your lymph fluid, and it's not moving out, causing you these problems, because you did say no ear infection whatsoever. So you got to move lymph, and the way to start to move lymph, one would be movement. Get on a rebounder, go for walks. But in terms of herbs, to move lymph, you need herbs with a alterative action. So some of these herbs can, some examples of these herbs are calendula, red clover blossoms, and cleavers herb. You also have some extremely strong herbs that it would be very difficult for someone like yourself or even me to get a hold of these herbs, like pawpaw and cancer tree. But also you can use herbs that promote the function of your kidneys. These herbs have a diuretic action. Some examples of these would be corn silk, uva ursi leaf, and cordyceps mushroom. So, and the reason why you would get herbs to promote the kidneys function is because, in my opinion, the lymphatic system moves the majority of its waste into your kidneys, so then it can be filtered out through your urethra. Also, an avenue to move lymph out, to get it away from that head area, will be out through the skin. And when promoting the skin's function, you must focus on the liver and the thyroid. So some herbs that can benefit the skin would be horsetail herb, gotu-kola, and sarsaparilla root. Herbs that can be used to benefit the thyroid would be lemon balm or bladderwrack, depending on which way you want to go with that. Some herbs that can be used to benefit the liver would be burdock root and dandelion root. Some well-known herbs there. But ultimately, you have to move lymph in order to, clear up that dizziness, that ringing in the ear feeling, etc. And it all comes back to the lymphatic system, which is your main immune system. Another way to move lymph, besides movement or using herbs, would be to consume fruits, berries, and melons. They are very hydrating, they are electrical, and they will work on moving lymph. Next question. Hello. Are there herbs that can help my 5-year-old with acid reflux? I'm already removing a lot for his diet, but he's been struggling with throwing up now. Thank you. Some herbs that come to mind, you have peppermint that can be used. It's a carminative. It can be, used to help to relieve gas or indigestion. You also have herbs like marshmallow root that can be used to reduce inflammation in the gastrointestinal tract, just in case the walls are inflamed, causing a reflux action. You also want to take a look into the autonomic nervous system, specifically the adrenal glands, because for it to just involuntarily come back up like that, that could be an issue with your with the child's adrenal glands as well. Now, generally when using herbs for humans, and dosage matters, and of course, it being a child, they weigh a lot less, so they would be able to they would need to consume a lot less of a said herb. Now, one thing you want to watch out for is using lymphatic herbs or alternative herbs on children, because they are your stronger herbs. But if you're talking about peppermint or marshmallow root or even chamomile, they could all help to help the child deal with acid reflux better. But definitely figure out what's causing it. I know you mentioned diet, but how you combine the foods definitely matters. It matters. But again, marshmallow root, even slippery elm bark, chamomile, peppermint can all help to help the child to combat the acid reflux problem. Yeah, and then the question, what's good for potassium? Well, you have bananas. Bananas are good for potassium. Side note, if the camera, the 4K may shut off. First time watching a podcast. Right now, I'm using a 4K camera. It lasts 15-20 minutes. Then it overheats. If that's the case, I have to switch over to that 1080 watata. All right, but in the meantime, 4K. So what's good for potassium? As most of us know, bananas. But I think which herbs are jam-packed with nutrition, right? These tend to be your I want to say sea greens. I gotta look more into it. But alfalfa leaf is jam-packed with nutrition, as well as stinging nettle leaf, tons of nutrition, and bladderwrack is also tons of nutrition as well. But I'm not sure if one of them contains potassium as well. But it could be a mineral balance going on here, and could be a kidney and adrenal gland weakness happening. If you're concerned with not getting enough nutrition, maybe the kidneys are kicking out something that you need for whatever reason. Also, too, you could have an absorption issue. So you could be eating all the potassium in the world, but the body isn't absorbing it properly. And if you're having an absorption issue, you better believe that the lymphatic system is not functioning well, because the lymphatic system absorbs your fats. And if it's not absorbing your fats, it can cause the body not to absorb minerals or amino acids or simple sugars, etc. All right, the final question: how about if your eye constantly blurry? Lymphatic stagnation, stress, high levels of stress is going on as well. To clear that up, of course, you would want to use herbs to bring blood to the eyes, to make sure the eyes are getting adequate nutrition. And you want to make sure you're using herbs to bring waste away from the eyes. So a couple of great herbs you could look into would be goji berries, ginkgo leaf, hawthorn leaf and flower, rosemary, all to help bring circulation to the eyes or strengthen the arteries. And then you have herbs for the kidneys, such as cleaver's herb, burdock root, uva urshi leaf to help promote the kidneys function. Also, dandelion leaf is another one. Parsley leaf is another one as well, to promote the kidneys function. But if you have redness in the eyes, chrysanthemum. But you're talking about blurriness, so clearly something's not functioning correctly, and there's a buildup of you could say waste in the eye area, and you need to move that out. Could be a cholesterol issue as well, too much stress, which would lead back to the adrenal glands not functioning well. What was that? So, and if you want herbs for the adrenal glands, that would be adaptogens. Those are fairly popular now due to everybody being so stressed out and looking for a quick fix. But when talking about healing, there is no quick fix. There is very slow fixes, but extremely beneficial. So slow and long lasting fixes when you're talking about using herbs in combination with foods and, of course, lifestyle changes. So I had to do a quick one here. Hope that helps you guys. And again, if you want to support the podcast, head over to patreon.com/HerbmanT. Become a Patreon member for early access to my podcast, or go ahead and get you ebooks, Detox and Heal, Herbal Cheat Sheet 101, or some merch. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, and or night.